I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. It's Thursday, January 15th. And here at Prophecy in the News, we've got a lot going on. For example, I've spent the last several hours uploading the February magazine. In fact, for the last several days, I've been buried in my labyrinth, looking at my computer screen, writing articles, and putting the magazine together. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And I think you're going to really like the February edition of our magazine. You're familiar, I'm sure, with, at least I hope you are, with the January issue, and especially the article on fractals. Really a neat article. Well, our website's been going down a lot lately. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but I think it may be antiquated equipment. With doing this daily webcast, we're getting more and more people clicking on every day. And I noticed on my own computer, and I have, don't tell anybody, 8 processors in my computer, 4 dual processors. I got a Macintosh, one of those big supercomputers, you know. And I would watch this webcast, and last Saturday morning, it would play for about 60 seconds, and then it would stop and freeze up and buffer for another 60 seconds before it would play again. And my only thinking is there's a lot of people clicking on to watch us. I guess that's good in a way. So anyway, I want you to know that when you come onto our site and there seems to be a problem, it's down or something, we are working on it, and we are trying to get it fixed. We're working with Via Networks in Atlanta, Georgia, who are hosting, that's the hosting place where we have 2 dedicated servers there, and we're trying to get it all worked out to where it won't be going down. But please have patience and bear with us on that. The magazine is currently uploading. That's the reason why this webcast is a little late this afternoon. I should have been here 4 hours ago, but I've been working on the magazine, trying to get it finished. And by the way, I have written a 9,000-word commentary on the book of Enoch. That's only on the first 11 chapters. There's 108 chapters in the book of Enoch. And beginning with our February issue, the very first installment of our commentary on the book of Enoch. Now, you may recall the book of Enoch is not considered to be inspired scripture, but for the first 700 years of church history, from the days of Jesus to after Augustine, and when finally the European church drifted into what is called the Dark Ages, Enoch, the book of Enoch, was well respected and read aloud in congregations and studied by the ministers for its apocalyptic literature, for its historical and prophetic value. This book of Enoch, in chapter 1, verse 1, was written to the people who are living in the tribulation period. So, since the tribulation period could be just over the horizon or just around the proverbial corner, I thought it was time that we should publish the book of Enoch and with our commentary on it to let you see what it's all about and to learn about the book of Enoch. And when we get down to the final verse of chapter 1, and by the way, all 9 verses in chapter 1 are really powerful. When you get down to the last verse, we find that it was quoted in the Bible, in the biblical book of Jude, the book that just prior to the book of Revelation. Here's what Jude says. And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied. So you see, he called Enoch a prophet. Prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints. That's at the end of the tribulation period. And by the way, the book of Jude, being a part of 7 small books sandwiched between Hebrews and the book of Revelation, these 7 books seem to have within them allusions to each year of the 7-year tribulation period in an abbreviated chronological order. So Jude would be typical of the 7th year. And here when he talks about the Lord coming with 10,000s of his saints, he's talking about Revelation chapter 19 when the Lord shows up in power and great glory, and we come with him all riding on white horses, or the biblical facsimile thereof. Well, he says to execute judgment. The Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So in other words, when he comes, he's going to judge the wicked, and he's going to reward the saints. And you know, it's interesting. The book of Enoch divides up the saints between the chosen and the just. Now, I think maybe he's talking about the chosen people there when he speaks of the chosen. And the just, I think he's talking about Gentile Christianity. So there are two groups who serve the Lord. One of them receives the Messiah. That's us Christians. And the other one is not sure about the Messiah, but they'll see him when he comes. And Enoch writes this incredible book. And you know, when we get over to chapter 7, chapter 6, we find Enoch's story of the fallen angels, Azazel and all those guys that come down, 200 of them, and corrupt the human genome. It's really a powerful story and one that you'll enjoy. So watch for our February magazine. By the way, if you do not get our magazine, I urge you to subscribe. Just want to quickly tell you that if you will subscribe for $34.95 to the next 12 issues, you can have your choice of 4 books which we have published. This one called The Mystery of the Menorah and the Hebrew Alphabet. This one is on Hidden Prophecies in the Song of Moses. This one is on They Pierced the Veil and Saw the Future, the study of the 12 minor prophets. And this one on Guardians of the Grail and the Men Who Planned to Rule the World, the story of European royalty coming out of the Roman Empire. These 4 books can be yours free if you'll subscribe to our magazine, Prophecy in the News. And for those of you who already get it, be looking for the February issue coming up in a few weeks. It is going to the printers today to be printed. Well, I didn't mean to get off onto the book of Enoch and take so much time. I've got to hurry. Listen. In the morning, I'm going for a CAT scan, and it's a dedicated CAT scan, not an ordinary CAT scan. I don't know exactly what that means, but the doctors will look it over. They'll examine the 2 tumors that I have currently in my liver that they want to get rid of, and they'll figure out what they're going to do. Probably sometime next week, they'll go in with needles and ablate those 2 tumors, and then hopefully I'll be done with cancer, okay? So you be praying for me for the next few days. Just a quick note from the news. Israel tells the people in Gaza to brace for an escalation on the war, and the United States seeks to move arms to Israel. Hundreds of tons of arms to Israel from Greece. They are trying to tender all the documents, get ready for that. Israel, I suppose, needs some more ammunition. So we're going to help Israel. I think that's a good thing. Oh, by the way, next Tuesday, the inauguration, I think it's Tuesday, the inauguration is coming up. And I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what happens to the stock market and our economy as we have this regime change. Just keep praying. Pray for our country. Pray for the people who are out of work. By the way, we're overworked here at Prophecy in the News. It's a wonderful thing. All of you have been so gracious and who love the Lord and love His appearing to support us. I thought when I got cancer I'd lose all of my support. Everybody think I was dying or dead, no longer viable. But hey, you've been good. God has blessed. And right now, my poor wife, she finally closed out December 31st yesterday, and she's starting on January 1st. And we're talking 15 days behind schedule on answering the mail, getting the posting done into the computer, getting the packages ready to mail out to people. And so be praying that maybe the Lord will send us some secretarial help to work on those areas, because we are in a hiring mode, folks. We're not laying off people. Isn't that wonderful? So keep praying for Prophecy in the News, and we'll see you tomorrow.